NASCAR robbed Ryan Preece of a spot in the All-Star race after they penalized him for running over the choose cone, a cone that you couldn't even see on the track. I wrote this up over at stockcarreport.com, and Preece shared his frustrations with NASCAR by delivering them a physical cone following the conclusion of the NASCAR All-Star Open at North Wilkesboro. Preece, who was running in second and in a position to transfer to the All-Star race, was penalized by NASCAR and forced to start at the rear of the field for driving over the choose box on the final restart. The reason the caution even came out was a suspect call at best. Riley Herbst got into the wall after Michael McDowell got into the back of him. However, Herbst continued on, and there did not appear to be any cars that would have been in danger of hitting him. Remember, just last night, in the truck series, they didn't throw the caution and allowed them to race back to the checkered flag, despite Raja Caruth hitting a spinning Corey Heim. So they didn't throw the caution there, but they threw the caution here. Again, inconsistency from NASCAR, but I guess that is NASCAR's consistency. You can see it right here. McDowell gets into Riley Herbst. He gets into the wall. He keeps going, and they somehow threw the caution for that. Absolutely ridiculous. Should not have been a caution thrown. So there shouldn't have even been the choose cone to begin with. But then when they actually got to the choose cone, Preece clearly went low to pick the bottom lane, given Carson Hocevar had went high. However, he believes he had already passed the painted arrow on the track and drove back up to the middle to begin clearing his tires. Unfortunately, he had not passed the arrow yet and drove over top of it. NASCAR then issued him the penalty. Preece ended up finishing in 11th due to the fact that he had to start in the rear of the field, and there was only, 20 laps left in the race. So following the race, Preece found an orange cone and delivered it to the outside of the pit wall for NASCAR officials to pick up and place on the track for the All-Star race. Not happy with NASCAR here. Here he is with the cone, delivering it to the pit wall where the kind of parallel to where the arrow is on the track. You can see him walking through the pit area here. He's got his cone, getting some good Kroger advertisement there from his suit. There you see them pushing his car away there. So he goes right over to the pit wall where I assume it's parallel to where the arrow is on the track. Obviously gives a look to the NASCAR officials there and puts the cone down on the outside of the pit wall. He would also speak to the media immediately following the race about the penalty, and he said it was a restart. It was a cone that was non-existent, so if you're going to, you can't even see it right now. A rule is a rule, I understand that, but at the end of the day, I made a mistake, just frustrated with the outcome or the decision. He later added, sorry, I'm just really, really effing pissed, but then I again acknowledged a rule is a rule. When asked by Matt Weaver if it was normal to have that much rubber covering up the arrow, Preece said, I don't know, put a cone out there. If we're going to have a cone rule, put a cone. And then obviously he went and got the cone, which we just watched, and put the cone on the outside of the pit wall. And then he also, Preece shared to his personal social media account on X, an image of the arrow, which you can barely make out from the pit lane, so probably unlikely to even see it from the spotter's box or on the track. Clearly very difficult to see where that arrow is on the track. And then, to make matters worse, you've got the RFK Racing sharing a photo of NASCAR and track officials literally repainting the arrow on the track following the Open and Preece's mistake. And then Doug Rice here, former PRN anchor, confirming that they did indeed put a fresh cone of paint over the arrow so you can clearly see it now. So absolutely despicable ruling, in my opinion, by NASCAR. And then to actually repaint it in between the races should not have been a penalty whatsoever. I couldn't find the footage on social media, but when I watched it on Fox, it was very obvious that Preece was going low and to pick that bottom lane on the restart. It was very clear that is what he was doing. You could see him go all the way to the bottom. He just came up after he thought he had passed it and drove over it, and instead they penalized him for that. I think that is an absolutely despicable ruling. I think it flies in the face of the spirit of the rule. They should have allowed him to continue with that. It's not like he was trying to make a decision and then panicked and didn't make one, or he was intentionally trying to drive over it on purpose. No, he clearly tried to pick the bottom line and didn't realize where it was because you can't see it. And they should have, within the spirit of the rule, allowed him to maintain that position. So absolutely despicable officiating on NASCAR's part, and Ryan Preece has every reason to be pissed off at the officials that really kind of changed the outcome of this race completely, I think, because I think Ryan Preece probably would have been able to get around Carson Hocevar on that restart and would have won the race and raced his way in. Instead, he's finishing in 11th and is going to have to watch from the sidelines. Just absolutely terrible, especially because he had the best car. And as fans, we should be wanting to see the best cars race in the All-Star race. We should have been able to watch him kind of work his way through the field and see what he could have done. We know he's good at these short track races, and he's in some top quality cars here with RFK Racing, and would have put on a show given how we saw how dominant his car was in that Open. And NASCAR absolutely robbed that from us with their terrible officiating. They literally made the quality of the All-Star race less with this ruling, and they have only one to blame but themselves. They really need to fix their officiating problems. I've been harping on this for a long time now, and they clearly they can't get it right. They can't get it right. But let me know what you guys make of what happened here. What do you make of NASCAR penalizing Ryan Preece? Do you think he should have been penalized? Do you think a rule is a rule and that's what it should be? Or do you think, hey, there is a spirit of the rule and they should have honored that spirit of the rule and they should have given us, as fans, the best product out there? And instead, in my opinion, they chose not to. They chose to penalize him on purpose. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.